anything. Son of a bitch. Hi. I don't know what's going on. I got sound problems. Sorry. Let's see. Let's see. I don't know. Everything is supposed to be fine. And it's not. This is a great start. Great. Anyway, how's it going? If you can even hear me. Fucking motherfucker. Audio. Okay, that's fine. Jesus Christ. I don't know. I'm using this fucking software that makes it so I can do it on my own and have everything automated, but like they update shit and it keeps fucking changing and it's supposed to be for the better, and then I open it and I'm like, why doesn't this work? Why can't I hear a sound effect? Why can't it? Fucking motherfucker. I was in a good mood up until that recording now thing started. Fucking. Why am I in a good mood? I started biking. The weather's good. Not like it's not like I haven't at all been, but you know, the winter you just fucking you dial it back, and there's also the issue of being on the road. I wish I could take my bike on the road. Oh, that'd be so great. Just those long ass days of like, what am I going to do? I've walked around, I've sat and wrote, and I'm like, I'd bike around town or in the Midwest going like a 50-mile flat. Ugh, that'd be great. Anyway, until I have a tour bus, I can do it that way. Yeah, I'm getting back in like fucking bike shape. What's good about New York is you can like you walk a lot and then you city bike, and you have like I have my commuter just get around town beater bike that I can lock up and ultimately not care if it got stolen, but I would really deep down still care. But you just kind of a part of you resigns yourself to that potentially happening when you live here, because there's a bike stolen every fraction of a second. But what can you do? So anyway, I got into the groove this week where I'm like, I'm going on a few rides a week, minimum. To me, anything below 10, 15 miles is just warming up. So I can't justify a like 10-mile bike ride. It doesn't even count. So I'm doing like a couple rides in the 20s, and then later in the week I'll do a big ride like 50 to 75, 80, something like that. I'm not going to push it hard like I used to, because it turns out I'm in my late 30s, pushing 40, and I'm not invincible anymore. I'm learning that the hard way, and the hard way is where you just deny, and then you go, why does my fucking knee hurt? Because I was in the gym, and then in a yoga class, and then boxing, and then cycling, and then I don't stretch. That's why. But it feels good. It feels good to be back on the saddle. It feels good to be like pacing myself. It's a combination, like that first week where you're like, I'm getting back into it. And this never happened in Los Angeles because there's no such thing as winter. So you can just, every week is a good week to do multiple rides. But it was this combination of the weather's a little warmer. So you're like, oh, that feels nice. And then there's the blood flowing exercise, like, oh, I feel good. Kind of working together, and it just feels, and just like being in the city and just fucking, riding through traffic and going to parts of town that you kind of don't really go to unless you're biking. So like all those factors together just like make you feel fucking alive. And that's why I love biking so much. It just makes me feel connected to like my physical self, my mental self, like, and my physical environment, like biking really anywhere. I mean, if I do one of those like public bike share things like city bike, but in, another city, that's my preferred method of discovering a new city. Walking, obviously, but if things are a little spread out, you can walk in Denver, but there's some neighborhoods that are like it'd be a long walk. And if you don't have a lot of time, it's jump on the bike share and then you can cruise around. It just feels good. That's how I like to discover new areas. And the feeling of just getting on a bike, it's like a micro adventure to me. Like everyone feels like, because I try not to do the exact same ride every time. Or if I do, I'll set little challenges for myself. I'm like, all right, I'm going to get to the halfway point faster. So it just becomes this little, little micro adventure I'm going on. And then I'll discover something new, or I'll like find a different coffee shop to stop at, or whatever it is. And now that I have a bike that I can get wider tires on, because the fork clearance is a lot wider on my road bike now, I can get some pretty big tires, and I could probably do some gravel riding. So that's going to open up way more possibilities. And I'll probably do shorter rides, but I'll be able to go to different areas. Like if I cross over to Jersey and start going up the 9W, I could kind of cut off the road and, get up into the mountains and really feel like I'm in nature, which is kind of hard to get to quickly when you're in New York. Another thing that was easier to sort of get to in Los Angeles, especially if you drove with the bike to somewhere and then, rode around. But city riding here is better than there. So it's sort of, everything kind of evens out. The age-old cliche, which city's better? And the answer is there. I've now lived in both. There isn't an answer. There isn't. And if you're all in on one over the other, I don't understand you, because they're either you're not getting around enough in each one and really soaking everything in, or you don't like to do anything. And if you barely spent time in the other city, you're like, this one's the best. I personally love them both in different ways, and I don't have to decide, and I never will. But anyhow, the feeling of biking is very meditative. It's very like I can get on the bike, and when I'm not, riding through the city, once I get out into like some amount of open road, I can just look ahead like this, like that. Here's my handlebars, and then here's sort of like where I'm looking ahead, and I just focus on that part of the road, and that allows me to see ahead, see below if there's any debris, and then outwards. And then I just sort of, everything else just melts away, becomes like this bokeh type blur, and I just go. And my thinking becomes so clear. It's like right after you meditate, where you open your eyes and you're like, like that sort of, that feels good. That's how I am during a ride. And I mean, it doesn't start until like probably mile 10 or 15. Mile 2, 3, 5, I'm like, I fucking hate this. Why am I doing this? It's cold. This sucks. My leg hurts. I'm selling my bike. I'm never going to even walk again. Those are the feelings I get as I'm warming up. I'm like, I am never going to move again. How about that? I can get everything delivered to me. I'll never physically do anything. And then mile like 17, I'm like, I don't think I'll ever not ride a bike. I will ride 200,000 miles today. It's a feeling of like, it's great. And once I can get locked into a certain thought and really just kind of explore an idea if I want, or if there's something that's been bothering me. I can sort of think it out. And I feel like just because my blood's flowing and my mind's going and I physically feel so fucking good that I can, it's close to objectively think something out. And I mean, if you have another thing that does it for you, great. But if you don't, try getting on a bike and like then doing it for exercise, like endurance, kind of longer distances, and make that the goal. Like, forget about the I'm gonna fucking sweat and break these records and do all this stuff. Do it for the same reason I go to the gym. Do it for your mental self, and then there will be, physical. I can't think of the word. Physical like consequences that you know only will benefit you. And if you do it that way, then it's you have multiple reasons to do it. Because some days you're like, I don't want to fucking, who cares about my mental self? But you physically want something, great, do it. But it can go both ways. It doesn't have to be one or the other. And when I found that, I don't know when that was, but I just noted, probably when I started doing rides that were over like 30 miles, 40, and then I was really like, I'd ride up like PCH in LA, or up climbing is another one, because you're going slower and you're just like, you get into this rhythm and then you forget the hill or the mountain is there. You're just going, and it's the closest thing to autopilot, like if you're driving in a car and you hit cruise control, you're just going, you kind of forget that the car is doing its thing. And it's like that on a bike, even though you are doing it the whole time. But once you start going, you build, like, you get a good cadence going. It just, like, miles become minutes, and you just can go, and then it's all here. It's all this. Your physical self is what it can handle it. And I'm trying to not get to where I think I can go yet. Because I know right now I could get back on my bike and ride 60 miles. I can. I'll do it. It's not a good idea anymore. And those are hard realities to grapple and reckon with. It's like, you're not invincible anymore. And you just have to approach it differently. Like, I can still do it. I just have to alter the approach and know that that's just the way it's going to be. But I need to do it if I want the same outcome. And that outcome is incredibly important to me. Get on a bike, ride, and just be able to open my mind and just think things through and feel fucking good about the thoughts, feel good about myself, and feel good that I got up and did it. So yesterday I did like 25. Today I did like 20. And I don't feel it, which is nice. I don't feel my left knee is weird, or my lower back. The thing that I introduced a year-ish ago is yoga. And that has been, couldn't have been more wrong about yoga. I will all day, all night be like, hey, yoga, I was wrong about it. Hey, you guys want to hear about something I was wrong about? It's yoga. Let me tell you how wrong I was about it. Wrong. I was so wrong. And I got into it, and I now feel so right. God, was I wrong about yoga? I'm like, it's stretching, it's fine, it makes you feel good, I get it. But dude, it erased my lower back problem. Gone. Like, you fucking highlighted it, delete, gone. It's just vanished. It's crazy. And it's been huge for biking. In my 20s, 30s, I was like, yeah, I could do yoga, or I could stretch, or I could never do any of that. And it was okay. But it caught up to me when I was training for the AIDS Life Cycle ride in 2013, which was a million years ago. And I got tendonitis in my left knee, and man, that was my first like feeling that I'm like, oh man, my body's not doing what I want. And it's weird. It was really weird. It didn't break anything, and I haven't broken a bone yet. I'm sure that feels like that, but that feeling of like pressing down on the pedal with my left knee, and there was no strength there, and it was just this pain radiating out, and I was like, what? I've never felt anything like this. And yeah, I was off the bike for like a month, and I told myself after that, I was like, I'm not letting that happen again. No. What are the steps I got to take? And I just started stretching more. I started using that kinesiology tape and taking care of it. And I should have kept going. I should have been like, well, I should take care of the rest of myself. But again, just fucking, I don't need to because I'm me and I can go, you know. I used to do a bit about that, like just feeling invincible in your 20s. Um, but yeah, I should have started applying that shit to my whole body, but I never did. And, you know, you can't go back. It's what can you do? But it's one of the things I started really getting into during the quarantine part of the pandemic was start doing yoga and really make that shit a part of your schedule, part of your life. And it fucking changed the way my body felt on a day-to-day basis, like all day, all night. Lower back, I felt like my posture was better. I just felt like more nimble. And I was doing yoga for like almost every day and hour-long classes and stuff. It was like, I did it so much that my hip was starting to hurt, and I've never had hip pain. And I went to the yoga instructor. I'm like, hey, my hip like feels weird. I don't know if I'm like over stretching when I do certain positions. She's like, huh, no, I never noticed that. I would have probably pointed something like that out, but how many classes are you doing? I'm like every day, and then I'm riding like 100+ miles a week, and I'm going to the gym on top of that. She's like, okay, yeah, you're overdoing it. What the fuck? Like, obviously. And I honestly didn't know you could overdo yoga, because I'm like, yeah, it's just only good for you. And she's like, yeah, but you're still using your body and your muscles and stuff. You can't do that, infinitely. And I was like, oh. So I went from not believing in it to believing that it was going to make me immortal. I don't know. So, and that just I'm just like, I'm 0 or 100. There's really no in between. So I had to dial it back to like 2 or 3 a week. But god damn, man, if you are skeptical about yoga, and there's tons of people that still are, you think like, oh, everyone does it. No. I'm Mr. Try new shit all the time, and it took me forever to properly. I'd done it once or twice, but to really do it. Do it for a month. Do like go through 3 real sessions a week for like a month and a half, and tell me you don't feel better. Shit, was I wrong about yoga? That should be the title of this episode. I was wrong about yoga. But yeah, man, I feel good about getting back in there. Hold on, I got a comment. Right. Yeah, I feel good about like being back on the bike, and I'm here long enough to where I can get into a rhythm. And then when I have to go to Florida, Tampa, April 14th, St. Pete, the 15th. Of April. Tickets on my website. Get your ass there, Florida. You're finally safe enough to go back into, I think. We'll find out. I'm gonna wear a fucking hazmat suit on stage. Anyhow, yeah, that's the majority of it, and I'm open to the Discord. If you're in the Patreon, has a cycling channel, I'm pretty sure, and I'm ready and willing to talk about it all fucking day and night. Only in there. I've started changing how I've gotten a million DMs about advice and let's talk about bikes. It's now all in the Discord. That's where we do it, and I will answer every question, and I'll be available to fucking go back and forth on it all day long because I love it, and I'll keep you updated on how I'm feeling, any cool new like cycling clothes or gear that I get into. I'm trying to get something from Rapha, I've never heard anyone say it out loud, but they do like cool cycling clothes and they have a store in Manhattan. I got to go in there and like check their shit out cuz I want something like new and comfortable and, so we'll see. But if you have any experience with their shit, let me know. Um, because that I think would be my next like biking purchase, especially as it gets warmer. Anyhow, um, thanks for being here. The hold on a sec. What happened to the? Oh, it's gone. Whatever. Um, where did it go? The fuck? Little fucking Patreon, it's whatever. Uh, Patreon/ATNY. Go check it out. Sign up. Help keep the lights on here. Literally, these lights that I had to fucking pay for, and this program, and all the shit. I got some new collaborations on the way. I'm so fucking excited. And if you're in the Patreon, you get first access and you get deeper discounts. And they're going to be fucking cool. Okay. See you next time.